It's a giant orb there. You see how the moon is moving? That's because it's not really, see? It's not really a rock or made out of any kind of material. It's made out of living beings. It's an orb cluster. See the motion? Watch every now and then it'll jerk back. It's supposed to move to the right. Look. It's strictly orbs. There's zillions of them. See that ridge? It's made out of large orbs. And all that movement, there's the smaller orbs. You see the jerking? Look, when I added a picture, I gotta move it a bit. Obviously, I'm using a tripod. Wow, look at the movement. Look, it's going backwards. Okay, I'm at 400x right now. You can see that the whole thing is not even solid. It's just orbs. So that's a orb cluster and also an orb cluster nucleus. And because of that, it's really not solid. It's in constant motion. I have to reset this for a minute. See the big orb cluster? See the big orbs in it? Those are all orb colonies. And the part that's shining, that's giving the moon the moonlight. It's not a reflection from the sun. These are orb clusters that are active, like those there. See, they light up. See them all? Look at this. That whole side there lit up, and it's all orb activity. And that's the hottest one. You can see the orb in the center. That's like a nucleus of that cluster. So what the moon is it's made up of orb clusters and orb colonies, and they're in super fast motion, high velocity movement, and there's nothing solid on the entire moon. You see it jerking like it's going back. It's supposed to go to the right. Here's the dark cluster. Okay, that's not me jerking the camera. Remember, it's on a tripod. See the irregular movement? Okay. Look at that big orb. And that other one there on top. These are like orbs hundreds of kilometers in size. And they use the moon as a breeding ground, because that's the nucleus of a much larger cluster that's in space all around it. So the moon does not shine because of a sun reflection. It shines because the orbs light up. Also, the moon does not cause our tides to go high and low. It has nothing to do with them. That's due to our own magnetic field of the Earth. It has nothing to do with the moon. Okay, the moon is an alien orb cluster, and these are very intelligent alien entities, and they are very, very powerful. That's the moon jerking around. Another picture. Okay, so this is a cluster, orb cluster nucleus on a smaller scale than a star, like the sun. And there are many smaller orb cluster nuclei that are activated to give the moon its shine or light. Wow, it's really jerking. Try and stabilize this. Okay, this is not me doing it. Wow. I don't want to try and get any closer, because then you won't be able to see anything. The orbs would be so big that you'd be looking like at a few orbs and that's it. So I'm gonna try to back off. Okay. I'm at about 150 X right now. This is 250. the jerking? You see those orbs there on the left? When the moon is active like that, with the clusters, that's when he does all the jerking around. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Earth, other than all the orbs that breed there also breed on the Earth. They're just as, there's more on the Earth actually than on the moon. And this is what's been kept a secret, because with so many orbs and this thing not being solid, it was impossible to land anything on it, because it's always in motion and there's actually nothing to land on. And anything that would come close, these things are powerful. They carry a plasma charge and an electrical charge, and an orb is also a very formidable and large. There's even larger ones than this. The ones that are like the star size, and they have an awesome arsenal of appendages which could really do a job on just about anything. It's a perfect predator, and every single orb there is a cluster in itself, made out of smaller orbs, and these clusters all cluster together to form this nucleus, which is the moon, and they activate day and night to shine. But in the daytime, it's hard to see it because there's sunlight and everything. But it's always like that. It doesn't shut down, because the orbs have to keep moving. They have to cluster. Look at that big one there. Another one. You see them? These are big ones. Okay? They're all clusters, plus they're all orbs, because when a cluster comes together like that, then it is acting or behaving as a single entity and not a colony, although all the other orbs are part of the colony, and they all have certain tasks, and it's like jobs, and they work to support the entire cluster, the nucleus, the moon, which is just a figment of our imagination. It's an orb cluster. It's not solid at all. Look. See all the orbs? Okay, so that's the real moon. the real thing. And this is not a made-up story. These are facts. So Apollo never landed on anything. I think Stanley Kubrick did a good job, and everybody else played along, and it was the biggest lie, I guess, that you could possibly make the whole world believe. And I think that was wrong, because they knew. They had to know, because they had telescopes and everything, which are more powerful than the camera. Okay, I'm at 500x right now. And you can see the movement both in the light side and in the dark side. And that's the moon doing all the shaking. And that's due to all the activity of the orbs. See the rim there? I always thought that was a spaceship or something. It has a conical top. There you see? The whole thing's not solid. And these orbs down here, they're just scenery. The whole thing is a figment of our imagination, because we thought it was solid, and it had mountains and all kinds of things, rocks, soil. People even said there were aliens, not aliens, maybe aliens, but an old civilization, billions of years old, and spaceships on this thing that have crashed. That's all lies. Okay? Because these are all living things, and they're in clusters. I wish it would stop jumping around. Boy, I hope I can stabilize this, because I'll have to do it a couple of times. It's moving so much. But the point is, it's alive. And it's alive with intelligent, very capable and keen and honed predators that can really do big damage if they so decided. They've been behaving so far, but in the past, these orbs and the orbs from the sun and the orbs like over here in space, those ones, they're all over. It's like an ocean of orbs. The whole space is not a void. The entire universe is not a void between stars and galaxies. It's full of these things. See? Like anywhere you go. Anywhere. Okay, look. See how many? So all those photos that I put lightness and brightness increase and everything, that's what they show. Because the Earth is moving through space, but it's moving through an endless ocean of these orbs. Okay, because they're everywhere. They make stars. They make our moon. They make maybe other moons. They probably make planets that are gaseous, like Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune. Perhaps even Saturn. Like the outer planets. Okay, and we don't know much about Pluto, but I don't think that's a planet. So, you know. Okay, so those were the orbs in space. Now, let's see. The orbs in the moon. Okay, so you can definitely see the clusters and where they are. See the moon move backwards? Okay, so the camera's on a stand and it ain't moving. Okay, so this is the way the moon moves around because it's alive. You know, it has no steady anything. And that's why sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't when it's supposed to. And then it shows up in the wrong spots and it's not always the same orbit. The orbs have really multiplied a lot, so they're creating holographic moons that are actually in our atmosphere, and all kinds of things like that, because these are smart, highly intelligent beings. They're not just they're not something to ignore, for sure. Because look how many of them there are. And that's just the moon. Check it out. Now, does that look like a good orbit? And don't worry, it's not going to crash into the Earth. They'll come down to the Earth, but they won't crash. They're all flying and sticking together in large groups, which I call clusters. And they're at 400x. Something like that, maybe 450. See the jerky moved? Look at all the orbs just milling around and around. And those things that look like craters, huge orbs. Okay, there are no craters. There are only orbs. There is no solid ground. There are no rocks. There are no mountains. There is nothing. The whole thing is alive. And these are orb clusters. Some are more active than others. They create the light that we see day and night. It's harder to see in the daylight, but at night it's very bright, but it's not a reflection of the sun shining onto the surface. Okay, this is light produced by the activity of these orbs moving at high velocity in a counterclockwise movement in many, many clusters inside the nucleus itself, which is what we call the moon. Okay, and this is the bottom portion. See, every time he jerks like that, okay, look how far it went back. I mean, does that look like it's an object that's traveling through space at a certain rate and, you know, a certain distance from the Earth and just in a certain orbit? None of that is true. It's all lies. And the only true thing is, it just makes me laugh when he jumps like that, because it's really a lie, the whole thing. There must be zillions of orbs just inside the nucleus there, the moon cluster, I should call it. It's incredible how many I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of it. Okay, so you have to have a good camera. You have to have the zoom power, and it has to be super high definition at like 18 pixels. And you need a tripod because you couldn't possibly hold it to show anything in your hand. Okay, look at those big orbs. They make that ridge that I take a lot of pictures of. You see that? So, oops, went out of the frame altogether. That was a big jump for it. Man, it's really shaking. Okay, remember the camera is on the tripod. It's not moving. Okay, so that's life in space. And sometimes that light comes into our atmosphere, the higher atmosphere. It's not that far, not as far as we've been told. Okay, this is, that's a big orb there on top. And just back off. See that big orb? perspective. Okay. Boy, what activity. I mean, the whole thing is just jumping. Okay, now we're at 400. I think we were at 600 before. Okay, so that's a lot of zoom power. And like I said, this is super high definition. I have a fast chip as well. So hopefully this will come out just the way I see it. But man, look at that thing jump around. It's incredible. So this thing actually has nothing to do with the tides. The only way that you can do anything to the tides is if all of them just go into the ocean and move it around, which is possible because there's more of them on Earth than on the moon. And they could be just, looking after the planet, making sure the environment is sustainable for them. And we benefit from that. And in the past, whenever man threatened the planet or the health of the planet, they caused a flood or a volcano or earthquake or something like that. And they just killed us off. And, almost to extinction a few times with the ice ages and everything, and also the drought, that lasted like centuries. That's before civilization, when we were like just animals. But we lived in groups just like they do. This is going to be a real long video, and I think it's worth it. I can't do anything about all the jumping because, the camera's, solidly on a stand, and it's a good tripod, it's a professional one, as is the camera. Very professional, and otherwise, I couldn't show you anything. Okay, I've done this before, when it was full moon and all you could see is orbs moving around, and people thought I was joking, or I made it up, but the fact is, this is no joke. This is reality, and everything you've heard about the moon is definitely lies. Okay? Because people knew what this was a long time ago, but it was kept a secret, and I don't know why. So forget about the moon landings and everything else. That never happened. That is staged for publicity, and it fooled the entire world. Okay. And the moon has no effect on the Earth other than the orbs themselves affecting changes on the planet. In terms of gravity and things like that, tides, although this has mass, it's really not doing what we think it's doing, because it's so irregular. I mean, look. It's just like jumping around like crazy. See the jerking? I just have to move it over because obviously the earth is spinning the other way. Whoa. See that? I mean, it's very active tonight. Okay, one final look around to show you that it's just all orbs, colonies and colonies of orbs. And that just jerks right out of the frame. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just show you a closer look to prove once and for all that the entire moon is alive. I want you to remember that this is a living cluster of living organisms that are very intelligent. So when they say the watchers, that's not just these guys, it's all the orbs of space. Because they have big eyes and even bigger claws. But the biggest thing about them is they have largest brains I've ever seen in an animal or a species, entity, whatever you want to call them, in an organism. Most of their body size and weight is the brain and the eyes, although they have 4 legs, 2 large claws like a lobster or a crab. They have tentacles. They have trunks like elephants. They have 2 types of tentacles, short like an octopus, and also 2 that shoot out like a squid. The giant squid that shoots out those paddle-like tentacles. And it's got great eyesight. The eyes are huge, and the orbs are huge. They grow to huge sizes. These are nothing in comparison to some orbs and stars. Boy, it just doesn't stand still. Okay, so this is like the real colors of the moon. We see it more like black and white. Okay, I didn't add anything to make the color different. This is all normal. everything in this video is normal. Even the jumping around of the moon is normal. That's just the way it goes because look at all the activity. It makes the whole thing jump. And remember, this is just the nucleus of a much larger cluster. But in that nucleus, there are other clusters which are smaller than the nucleus itself, which is the moon. And when they activate, they give off light. And that's the light they see, not a reflection of any kind of sunlight. Okay, that was a lie. It's no reflection. It's the moon making the light because of the active clusters in it. Not on it, in it. They're part of it. And these other dark clusters make up the scenery. So when I said the moon was a hologram, that's exactly what I meant. I knew this a long time ago, but I had to go out and buy, equipment. Fell right out of it. That was a big jump. And back it up. Okay, so this is no zoom at all. Let's straighten this out. So you have to put the camera like in an angle because the thing is jumping all over. See how it looks white? That's the light we see, and that's all the active orbs. Watch. A little bit at a time. Okay, that's me just spinning it in place. Move it over. The bottom. Okay, now that's the moon jumping around. Or the moon cluster, I should say. You see all the orbs there? Just zoom in. They move close to the speed of light, but when they, get bright, they're not. When they're active and flying, their starting point is the speed of light because these are like creatures that make up stars, and they're just born like that. So they have to move fast. They're in a whole different time frame and dimension and everything else. Okay, we can see them in our dimension, but when they move really fast, we just can't see them, we can't detect them or anything else. There are no instruments that can catch something that fast, or even, record it or anything, because these are living organisms. They're just like you and me, just look different, opposed to what they look like. So, check it out. Well, it's a real long video, but it just worked. Look at all that activity. So where do you think the pole landing took place? On which orb? And there is no other half of the moon. This is it. Okay. When it turns sideways, that's when you see a full moon. But this is all there is. There is no other half. That's a lie. It's round and everything. It's like a half moon, and then it turns around, and you see a full moon. Because this side over here is round, and it's a half a sphere. So when it's facing us, we think the whole thing is a sphere, but it's not. Okay? It ends right there on this line. Like right along that line. Okay, this line right here. Look at all those orbs. Man. That's a lot of them. Okay, so that's what comes down and interrupts everything. You know, runs out our transformers, feeds off our electric grid. A whole lot of, they scare the military because they come and just shut down everything because they control electromagnetic energy. They can turn the power on and off. They could put us back in the Stone Age very easily. And things like that. I think that video I took in 2009 was an attack on the moon by us, not anyone else, but it was an attack by us. And they were not happy about it. And that's why there's more orbs than ever now here on Earth. And I don't know. Something's up and something's gonna happen, but I don't know when or how. Check out those clusters. It's too much. I'm only at 400. I don't want to go any closer because then it's too much. It's a good camera. But look at the thing jump around. It just makes no sense. But it makes a lot of sense for them because that's the way they live. That's how fast they move. Under normal conditions, imagine they have to move fast to get out of their way or something. They move away at this. They start at the speed of light, and then they just go faster. But nobody says that they can't go slow because they've been over military bases, just standing in place over nuclear weapons and things like that. Shut them down. They almost caused a nuclear war. Now there's so many of them on Earth. They're airplanes. They saw one today in a jet. I mean, not one. A small orb cluster, actually. But it was spread out all over. And it's a very dangerous situation because these things can discharge high voltage or a plasma strike. It's like lightning at any point. Could knock an engine out real easy. And it can also hold on, let me do this again. Just keeps jumping like so far away. Okay, here's closer. So you can prove it to yourself that everything is alive. Wherever you look. Okay. And I mean everywhere you look. There's the glowing part. That's a cluster too, it's just that it's upright like that. Okay, you don't have to be around cluster configuration before giving a good-looking person and act like one. So you can't really mess with okay, I think I showed enough. One final look at close range. So, the moon is alive and well with zillions of orbs in the nucleus, which is the moon itself. It's not sunlight reflection. It's active clusters on the moon causing the light and the moon therefore to glow. There's no other part, okay, at all. This is it. When you see a full moon, what happens is it just turns sideways, and that's all. That's part of its cycle, because they've been doing it for thousands of years. And I'm just going to show you. Trying to show you here. Okay, so these are orbs in space. It's like that everywhere. And they're all alive. They're all very smart. Each one of them, it doesn't matter their size, is smarter than a human being. They're much more hardy and have more appendages that can do serious harm and destruction. They also can, send out a pulse of energy that can destroy things. They're very capable. They can exist in an atmosphere. They can exist without an atmosphere. They can exist in water. They can exist almost anywhere. And nothing seems to bother them when they're small. They're very you know, they could be easily crushed and things like that. I had some at home for a long time, 8 months. I had them like pets. I fed them and everything. And I've learned a lot about them from the ones I kept. I started with one, and all of a sudden I had like 2 dozen, because they multiply so rapidly. Got to the point where I had so many of them that I didn't want them in the house. Actually, my wife didn't want them in the house, so I had to let him go. Okay, so I know this has been long, but if you really want to know what the moon is like, this is a real reality show. I know it's going to be very hard for some people to believe, but here it is in flesh. Because those things are, you know, tangible organisms, but they can also turn into energy in a flash, so to speak. You know, yeah, they can turn from matter right into energy, just like these orbs there are energized. These black ones can do it. This is just not their time to do it, because they have to make the scenery. And that's about it. There's that big one. Okay, notice it's in a pyramidical shape. And the other one is like a obelisk right next to it. There's a lot of things that are very similar to like what some civilizations have for their belief system. So the yours wants to come down and taught the early mankind, about things like life and death. They gave them hope. They taught them things, and they were accepted as like gods, because they were so much smarter. They're shapeshifters. They could be anything or anybody they want. So, thanks for watching. There's the one at the bottom. We'll go along the side. Okay, there's the top. There's all the other stuff. You see the movement. Oh, just lock it for a minute. I don't know what is show you that the whole thing is not real. Oops. That is me. I'm going to go back now to show you. Okay. I accidentally kicked one of the legs of the stand. Okay, I'll just do it like that. Okay, there's some clouds. Okay, this is good because, watch, the inner clouds. Oh, that's the moon. Hold on. So now the thing moves slowly. It's very hard when it's looking fast to get just the right. I'll forget about the clouds right now. Just watch the orb changes. Okay, here's what our clouds look like. This is the Earth's atmosphere. Same as space. Okay, it's full of orbs. So being other dimensional or multi-dimensional beings, they can coexist and breathe on this planet. And there's nobody. Because they're kind of shy. Look at all that shaking that whole cluster does. Man. Wow. I'm just going out of the frame, so I can't really, use the camera to its max. Because if I do that, the thing is moving so much, it's just going to be out of the frame and every jump it takes. Okay, so at 500 you can see it. Okay, thank you for viewing. That's it.